Ladies and gentlemen, RosterWatch Nation, welcome back to the epic RosterWatch Podcast, brought to you by RosterWatch.com. My name is Alex Dunlap, and joining us today, of course, the miserable, the inconceivable, the disgusting, the man himself, the trash man. Trash man, what the hell's going on, brother?
Not too much. Waiting for the sun.
The sun? It ain't coming out just yet?
Not yet.
You're not on Twitter, so you didn't see my tweets yesterday. I got a well drilled yesterday. It was like a brand new well.
Okay.
It was like I had a spaceship.
I didn't know you had an old. I didn't know you had an old well.
How the fuck you think I get water out here, trash man? You think a mule
I don't
brings it
know.
on his back?
I don't know.
Takes up the hill.
Like I get water from the pipes.
No. I get water from a PVC pipe that comes 600 feet up from under my house. From the Glen Rose formation. But my old well went dry. Guess how much this new well cost to put in?
$5,000.
No, like $22,000. I could have put a steam room in every shower in my whole house for the cost of this goddamn thing.
Does your insurance pay for it though?
My insurance pay for it? Fuck no. I had to take out a home equity line of credit and all this bullshit. But of course, this is what everybody's tuned in to hear about. My new well and various home equity loans, et cetera, et cetera. Trashman and I have a few topics to discuss with you guys today. We've been known by our SEO overlords at RosterWatch and our marketing guys at RosterWatch that there's a hot button topic that we must discuss today, and we must title the podcast as, which is overvalued players in early fantasy leagues for 2021. So we'll go over some of those. We will talk a little bit about the best ball cheat sheet, where I'll be putting version 1.1 up on the site at some point this week. There's been some changes in it due to the fact that I've done probably 5 or 6 best ball drafts, testing it since the first one went out last week. There are some players that I just find myself in spots where I'm just, I'm going against the sheet and I'm taking other players, and that can't be the case. So I've made the sheet to where it would be exactly what I would be doing and what our analytics said we should be doing in some spots. I want to talk to the trash man about some of those. And we also have an interview with Auburn wide receiver Seth Williams that Byron got when he was up at MJP last week as they get ready for the Michael Johnson Performance Combine up there in Dallas. We'll play that for you. But first, just wanted to talk a little bit about Seth Williams. A reminder, if you like the podcast, you like what we're doing, if you want the frequency of the podcast to continue as it is, as we recover from the winter storms here in Texas and get back in the saddle, please give us a rating and a review in Apple Podcasts. You don't know how much that stuff helps. And also, of course, any thumbs up, stars, anything you could leave on YouTube, helpful as well. All right, trash man. Seth Williams, so he was a junior. He came out as a junior from Auburn. From what I can tell, watching the 2020 games last night and this morning, his quarterback, you can see some quarterbacking with Jarrett Stidham. You see some with this dude, Bo Nix. I think Bo Nix kind of sucks. And this has been a run-heavy Auburn attack, right? But Seth Williams is a prospect, probably somewhere between 6'2 and 6'3. We don't have the exact measurements on him. Somewhere between 215 and 220, I'd say.
220 is what I read, but
okay, so probably 220. I've seen different things. I've seen him at 213. I've seen him at 225. I've seen him at 220. So that'll be interesting to find out sort of where he is. I think he sort of I think 220 is about what he plays like. If you look at his production in college, in his final season at Auburn, where they actually did play a full season, he was with his market share, a 22% market share of team receptions, a 31% market share of team receiving yards, a 33% market share of team receiving touchdowns. So if you take an average of all of those to get a total production score, it's like a 0.29. When you look at that in the context of his offense, the only players who were better producers than Seth Williams this year were, within the context of their offenses that we've done at least so far, would be Devontae Smith from Alabama, Tylan Wallace from Oklahoma State, Shi Smith from South Carolina, Cade Johnson, who played against a much lower level of competition at South Dakota State. Right. I mean, it was better than Diami Brown. It was better than Jamar Chase. It was better than Terrace Marshall. Better than Amari Rogers. Better than Dwayne Eskridge. So as far as within the context of his offense, actually really good. Byron said when he saw him up there at MJP, it was weird because Byron's comp was a little bit like a Keenan Allen. I don't know if that's his body type doesn't seem very Keenan Allen-ish to me, and he seems it seems more of his style is more beastly, contested catch. He can go up and get it kind of guy. As far as the breakout age, he broke out at a really young age. He came on as a freshman.
True freshman.
Yeah, so that's always good to see. Highly touted recruit. The athleticism, I don't know. I don't know about the straight line speed. I do know that if you look at our roster watch versus Roto Underworld Dynasty rookie mock that we did just like a week ago, Josh Larkey from the Underworld took him in round 4? I believe, yeah, round 4, pick 2. He took Seth Williams, and that to me feels like a round 4 pick on Seth Williams in a Dynasty rookie draft to me, just now as I'm getting to kind of start studying him, feels I like Seth Williams. I think he's pretty good. Like, tell me what you think. Do you think that round 4 is right for him in Dynasty? And I mean, dude, if I had this do all over again before, I'm not saying I would have taken him all the way ahead where I took Kadarius Toney in this mock at 3.02, but I don't see that big of a difference with how much I favor Kadarius Toney versus how much I favor Seth Williams. I think that the NFL will like Kadarius Toney a lot more just because of his speed.
I think so too. And I mean, I like what I've seen from Seth Williams. The thing is, it's a lot of contested catches. He's got really good hands. And he makes a lot of contested catches. The only thing is, with contested catches, that means he's not getting
he can't
separation.
Separate. He can't separate. Yeah.
And so
that's why I thought the Keenan Allen comp. I thought the Keenan Allen comp was a little weird because here's the thing: when Byron saw him at MJP, that was just him working out with Terrace Marshall and Van Jefferson and Coach D-Rob. It was just those guys out there running routes. And so if he wasn't going against a DB in these routes, maybe what Byron's lizard brain took from it is the fact that this guy's kind of slow, like Keenan Allen. but
possession receiver line.
But yeah, he didn't. But the thing is, you can't see Keenan Allen's just route running mystery, until you see him like on a football field versus other, the way he sits into zones, the way he finds space.
Yeah.
It's just like he's like clearly one of the best route runners in the league. That goes without saying.
Williams is a solid route runner in my estimation.
Well, it's just, but he doesn't come from a pass. This isn't a passing offense where he's been able to refine those skills as much as you would like. I think so. It's just, I think when Byron said Keenan Allen, maybe it's like maybe a little bit slower, maybe kind of looks more like a possession guy. Maybe in these routes versus air, he has really good hands and the type of framing abilities that we're used to seeing out of Keenan Allen. I'm not sure it's the best comp though, because I don't think he'll be as polished a route. I mean, it would take like a 99th percentile outcome for him to be as polished a route runner coming out as Keenan Allen was. And what reason would we have to think that was like reasonable to just expect a 99th percentile outcome out of some guy? I mean, I know that we love that he works out with Coach D-Rob and stuff. I mean, that certainly helps, but that would be my concern. I'm not as concerned about the fact that it always looks. I mean, that the fact that Maris Trashman is on a bunch of those tosses, especially if you look back at some of the balls he caught from Stidham, I think in 2018. Like, whether he was getting separation or not, he got down the field. I mean, he can get down the field on you with some long speed. I'm with you where I'm kind of interested to see where he comes in with his agility and just general explosive stuff.
His hips seem a little bit tight.
I can see that. I can see that a little bit. Yeah, and that would definitely be one of the things. Like, that's another thing where it's like, the complete opposite of a Keenan Allen, where he looks like a damn Gumby out there through his hips and his ankle flexion and stuff like that. So not sure whether, I'm glad Byron got his eyes on him. Byron will have his own kind of write-ups and everything that he'll want to talk about. But for me, I think Seth Williams, I'm intrigued by him. I like him better than guys going in. I think I might take him would you take him ahead of Shi Smith in a dynasty league?
I think so, maybe just because I don't think he's going to be as reliant on the scheme that he's in as a Shi Smith might be.
Yeah, I think that he's a guy, Seth Williams. He's going to become interesting in the third round of dynasty rookie drafts, and we'll kind of start slotting him there as we get ready for the dynasty rookie cheat sheet. Of course, landing spot will be, if he goes to Baltimore or something like that, he'll probably be a guy we probably don't want too much. I mean,
what he looks like to me is a guy that somebody can use in the red zone a lot. So, he might be largely touchdown dependent on the next level, but there's use for guys like that in fantasy.
Byron was able to talk to Seth Williams there, thanks to Coach D-Rob and to Michael Johnson Performance for the access. We will play that audio for you here right now. And for you people of YouTube, you get no audio. All right. So what do you want to talk about after this trash, man? Best ball stuff?
Yeah, sure.
All right. Do you have any rookie guys that you're working on right now? Who are you working on right now?
I was going to start doing some running backs, but I guess I can do some more receivers.
If you want to get into running backs, it's fine, but there's a couple of these wide receivers that we still need to get to.
I mean, I'd like to see Amon-Ra, St. Brown.
Okay, so you haven't done him yet.
No.
Okay, I was going to ask if there's anybody that I would want. We need to get back on getting some of those rookie spotlights up. I was just see if there was anybody you had done that I didn't know about.
Did you see Jaylen Waddle?
You already did Waddle?
Yeah.
No. Did you email me when you did that?
I'm pretty sure I shared it.
I might have missed it. All right. Well, yeah, I'll check that out. Maybe we'll come back in. Can you just tell me what you think about Waddle when we come back in, and then we'll talk best ball stuff?
Yeah, let me pull it up.
Okay. Yeah, so for the people watching on YouTube, we're just in a break here where we'll be on the podcast. We'll be playing the Seth Williams thing. As usual, we didn't play in the podcast beforehand, so it's kind of like we're at break right now.
I mean, it says it's shared with you. So you should have.
So weird. Okay, when did you share it?
Last week.
Fuck me. All right. Well, I'll get that up. I got a bunch of shit to get up to. I got Allen stuff to get up, and I got a bunch of shit to get up. All right, but let's just keep those spotlights rolling, and I will. I'll start doing it too, because I think we need to get on pace to finish all these motherfuckers. Okay. All right, let's come back in now. 3, 2. All right, so there you have it. Seth Williams seems like a good kid. Moving up my personal board a little bit. I'm going to do more work on him. I've only done my preliminary work. Of course, you can find Trashman and I work on all of our rookie spotlights over at rosterwatch.com. You can get access to those with a pro membership. Also, the Dynasty rookie sheet will be out soon. The best ball cheat sheet is already up. I want to talk about the best ball cheat sheet, but Trashman just told me that he had just finished his Jalen Waddle stuff. I'm really curious what you thought of Jalen Waddle, Trashman, because it's like Daniel Jeremiah is talking about moving him up to wide receiver 1, possibly in this draft. We have Jim Nagy from the Senior Bowl who's come out and said, he's going to be the first wide receiver picked, just the same way he said Henry Ruggs would be last year, and it blew everybody's skirts up, and it turned out to actually be true. Teams really seem to love Jalen Waddle's speed and his athletic measurables. And if you just look at what he was able to do in the first 4 games of the 2020 season before he got hurt, he was he was off to quite strong start. A lot of people say that, heck, if Jaylen Waddle wouldn't have got hurt last year, wouldn't have left all that meat on the bone for Devontae Smith to get done what he was able to get done within that Alabama offense. What did you think? What did you think of Jaylen Waddle? It looks like we don't have a weight on him yet. He's probably somewhere around 5'10", maybe 185 or so.
185.
In the production, clearly, the production from 2020 was, non-existent because we only had the 4-game sample. But for our production metrics over on the site, we used 2020 plus his best college year. And still, even when you do that, it's really, really not good production, because when you have his best college year, which is predominantly the meat of what we've used for his production score, and it's averaged in with what it was in 2020, where it was only like for a 4-game sample. Even the fact that since all the numbers were so astronomical in 2020, right? As far as the teams, I mean, in 2020, this team's total fucking this team had a total of 324 receptions in 2020. It had 4,656 receiving yards in 2020. It had 42 receiving touchdowns in 2020. He's not going to have a big market share, even when you combine his best season with the limited 2020 season, simply because he didn't play much of 2020, if that makes sense. Regardless, NFL teams aren't going to get up all in their feelings about everything I just talked about. They're going to look at the film. What do you think about Jaylen Waddle?
I mean, his talent's pretty hard to deny on tape. I mean, he's one of these human joystick kind of players, really fast, really explosive off the line, gets really good angles running down the field, sees the field really well. I think, he was used primarily as a utility player, up until his last season when he had an ankle injury. But prior to that, when he was with Devontae Smith, Jerry Jeudy, and Henry Ruggs, he was used primarily as a utility player. And I would say, considering that he was a utility player during that time, I thought his production was decent, considering, how much time he actually got on the field. He had 7 touchdowns his freshman year, which is, I think, really impressive for someone of his size. Being someone, only 5'10", maybe 185 pounds. He's probably smaller than that when he came in to the league, into Alabama. So I'm really impressed by his ability to get separation. He high points the ball. He's got a wide catch radius, considering how small he is. He
you think he'll come in? Do you think he'll come in with longer arms than you'd expect for a 5'10"?
Maybe. I don't know if it's even his arms. He high points the ball a lot. He just uses his athleticism to get a lot of balls that maybe other guys his size would have trouble getting. I was really impressed by him. I think the only reason I would maybe not elevate him, that high, is that it might be like a Laviska Shenault type situation where he gets on a team and, because of how he was used in college, teams might not really know how to best implement him in the NFL. But he's a really good kick returner, so he's probably going to get action early and often in the NFL.
Do you think it's crazy that some people say he's wide receiver 1?
I mean, watching him on the plays where he gets open and just devastates the defense, no. I mean, if Henry Ruggs is a viable wide receiver, the first wide receiver off the board, then that's conceivable for Jaylen Waddle.
College yards per reception, it's just 21.1 yards. I'm looking at the on Player Profiler. That's per those guys. That's the 96th percentile within their database. So, I mean, the dude can get downfield and get open and catch the football. It's just that the target share has been bad. He's had good teammates. It's just, to me that sounds like a Henry Ruggsy kind of profile. I don't know, man. You mentioned about the arms. We saw at the Senior Bowl a guy like Tylan Wallace, who you've watched, who seems like we talk about his catch radius, even though he's only 5'11", It seems like he's got the catch radius, and then you go and you see him at the Senior Bowl, and he weighs in with almost 33-inch arms. I think Jaylen Waddle has, whenever I watched him, I kind of noticed too that he kind of has some long arms. So that was interesting to hear from you, and I'll be interested to see how he measures out with that. I know you don't have him ranked yet. Where does he stack up with you? I mean, is he? You're not going to make him your wide receiver 1, are you? That's not going to be the.
I don't think I'll make him my wide receiver 1. I mean, he looks like a top 5 to me. I feel like the level of competition that he's faced, and considering that he wasn't really a full-time player and still, managed to get 7 touchdowns his rookie season, and he averaged, I think, 19 yards per catch his rookie season. It was better in the following year. I think that's when he was up to 21. It's hard to bet against his talent, his speed, his explosiveness. I mean, he's not going to be used as a blocker. He might be someone that you put in the slot, in the NFL. So he doesn't see a lot of press. He didn't really seem to face a lot of press at Alabama.
He'll be the same shit. He'll be the same thing. He'll be the same stretch as they moves into the slot. It doesn't have to face a ton of press. And the fact, what the fact of the matter is? People always talk about this shit about facing press, and like, I mean, how often do these guys really even face a really hardcore press against a good corner in the NFL? It's like it didn't even like it happens every week. So
yeah, if I like Dwayne Eskridge as much as I do, I feel like Jaylen Waddle deserves that kind of consideration, because I think that they're similar players, but Waddle had different competition.
To me, I think the way it'll shake out with me is I'm not going to put him ahead of Devontae Smith or Jamar Chase. I've done my work on those guys.
Would you put him in front of Terrace Marshall? Terrace Marshall, sorry.
Yeah, I think I would. My question would be, do I put him ahead of Rondale Moore and or Rashad Bateman? And those are guys that we can talk about on a future show if you'd want. But I think I have a hard time getting him ahead of either of those guys. But I still have a little bit of work to do with finalizing our reports on all 3 of those players. All that will be available over at rosterwatch.com. We're going to help you through all your dynasty stuff. Okay, Trashman, from dynasty over to best ball. Wanted to ask you about a few things. Where do you think Najee Harris comes off the board? I know we'll just start with a rookie here. This won't be all rookie talk, but I wanted to ask you about it. You tell me if a best ball draft peels off like this, you tell me when you say, you know what, screw it, I'm going to go with a rookie here, sight unseen, as far as where he's going to be drafted, knowing that we think so highly of Najee Harris that it looks like he catches the ball like Matt Forte, but has a body of Adrian Peterson. So you just tell me when. So let's say this thing slices off with Christian McCaffrey, Derrick Henry, some kind of Saquon Barkley, Dalvin, Jonathan Taylor, Alvin Kamara. Somebody starts to take Devontae Adams, Tyreek Hill, Zeke, Cam Akers, Nick Chubb, Austin Eckler, Aaron Jones. We don't know where the hell he's going yet. No, still not yet. DeAndre Swift, who's playing for a new caveman, and Dan Campbell, Stephon Diggs, Michael Thomas, Josh Jacobs, J.K. Dobbins goes off the board. DeAndre Hopkins goes off the board. Are you still not taking Najee Harris?
No.
Antonio Gibson goes off the board. Justin Jefferson goes off the board. Joe Mixon, Miles Sanders, Calvin Ridley, A.J. Brown, Keenan Allen, James Robinson.
Maybe around there, maybe.
Trashman. Do you know where I haven't priced in on this damn cheat sheet?
Where?
Exactly where you said to stop. Exactly. It's a choice between Najee Harris and Keenan Allen, with James Robinson the very next choice. Certainly, you like taking a sight unseen gifted rookie better than taking David Montgomery, correct?
I mean, if it's Najee Harris,
But what do you think about Montgomery with Tyreek Hill coming back? There's no way he's going to do what he did to end the 2020 season, right?
I think it all depends. We don't know who their quarterback is going to be. I think that's going to play some role in there. I guess it's a pipe dream that Russell Wilson goes to Chicago, but
hey, let me ask you, with all this Russell Wilson bullshit, does it make you a little bit less bullish on DK Metcalf? It makes me a dynasty want to take Tyreek Hill over DK Metcalf as the wide receiver 1.
Oh, I'd take Hill over Metcalf.
The reason I like Hill more than Metcalf as the wide receiver 1 is just because I know he's locked in through 2023. So if I get 1, 2, 3, if I know I'm getting 3 years of the Mahomes Tyreek Hill connection, I don't care. I mean, Tyreek Hill is how old is Tyreek? He's
25?
I think he's closer to. Let's see.
Is he older than that?
I think he might be a little older than that. Let's see. Tyreek Hill is. He's 26 now. He'll be 27. So in the 2021 season. So dude, Tyreek Hill till he's 30, he'll be fine. He's sort of in his late prime right now. The reason why there's a case for DK Metcalf is he'll only be 23.
Yeah.
And he's been really good. But with this, like DK Metcalf's like a year older than a year younger than your boy Dwayne Eskridge. So I don't know. I just, with the DK Metcalf stuff, are you doing anything with him or any of these Seattle guys? Do you have any worry that this is going to get done with him? How are you handling the Seattle pass catchers now that it feels like he wants out?
Metcalf, I'm not so worried about because I think he's, the kind of guy that you just throw it up to. He can get it for you.
Yeah, but there are a lot of those. I guess there aren't a lot of DK Metcalfs.
No, he's singular talent. I mean, Tyler Lockett, I think maybe is who I'm a little bit more worried about.
I have zero fucking interest in Tyler Lockett. I don't even want to talk about him on the pod. All right, and then let's see here. One other thing. Do you think that in this group of guys, I would just like to hear who you would want most? All three come with some probably some warts, but definite upside. What about here in this area where you've sort of gotten through probably the top 24 running backs or so, and you're getting into basically the round 6-7 turn of a best ball redraft startup type of scenario between Courtland Sutton, who will be returning from injury with a shitty quarterback and newfound competition for targets, and Jerry Jeudy, KJ Hamler, Noah Fant, Laviska Shenault, who not as much competition for targets, coming in with an elite new quarterback prospect, what should be a more dynamic offense, brand new coach, new system, probably somebody that'll be able to use him in all kinds of creative ways, in Urban Meyer.
Your boy Matt Kelly wants to take Laviska Shenault to this wide receiver 1, it seems like.
Well, Matt's smart. And then Juju Smith-Schuster, who we don't know where he's going to end up. It could be anywhere. And even though he was basically thought of as dynasty wide receiver 1 as little as like 2 years ago, we are now in a situation where we don't know where he's going to be playing. We don't know if he's any good as a number 1. I know we had the one bad season where we had fucking Duck Hodges and all this bullshit. But then post Antonio Brown, we've now had a season with Big Ben healthy and the offense seemingly, clicking at all gears and actually being one of the most pass-heavy offenses at times last year that we've seen out of the Steelers because they couldn't get the run game going. And Juju wasn't Juju. Who do you like out of those three? Courtland Sutton, Laviska Shenault, or Juju Smith-Schuster, sight unseen as far as his free agent landing spot?
Laviska Shenault is a sexy pick for me right there. I just, considering his upside and considering he could have a really good quarterback there. And if the offense opens up for him, if they open up the offense for Laviska Shenault, I think he could be a more dynamic receiver than DJ Shark. I mean, conceivably, he could be their leading receiver at the end of the season. Courtland Sutton's got a lot more competition there in Denver. And then who was the other one?
Sutton, Laviska, and Juju.
I would probably say Courtland is probably who I would.
And then Laviska second, Juju third.
Yeah.
Exactly how I have him priced in, Trash Man. We're on point. All right, let's talk now about your overrated. This is what you called me up early this morning saying, Alex, we got to get on the fucking pod. I got some players I got to talk about. Some overvalued players. What do you got, Trash Man?
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking about.
Just woke up, just fucking rearing to go. Instead of just pitching a tent there in bed, just thinking about coming here on YouTube talking about players in fantasy who are overvalued for that oh so important keyword.
I think overvalued to start off. It's going to be Ronald Jones and Leonard Fournette for me.
I mean, I think that makes sense because I see them on the cheat sheet. I've put them in both in their own tier. That's down here, right? Actually, who would you rather have between those two? I want you to talk about why you think so, but literally, they're on the same. Ronald Jones and Leonard Fournette are on the same line as Courtland Sutton and Laviska Shenault on the cheat sheet. So it's funny. It's like that exact same area, 6-7 turn. Yeah. Is where I sort of have them priced in. And you do see them going earlier than that. So I agree with you that both those guys are overvalued. Would you rather let's say your roster construction was, let's say you're at the early 7th round and your roster construction so far is 3 running backs, 3 wide receivers. Would you, and you have all 5 of those options available to you: Ronald Jones, Leonard Fournette, Juju Smith-Schuster, Courtland Sutton, Laviska Shenault. What are you going to do with that?
I put those running backs at the end of those wide receivers.
Okay. Well, then, so why do you think that they're overvalued? Because Jones
is going at RB 25 in 12-team best ball leagues.
Let's see. Where do we have
Fournette's is RB 26.
We have him as 28 and 29, but yeah, if so, yeah. I think they're overvalued too, if that's what I'm doing.
Fournette, I was looking at his stat. He actually broke 0 tackles in 2020.
That can't be true. That's wild.
He broke 0 tackles on 97 carries. I guess Jones ran pretty well, but yeah, at RB 25, that's just, I don't know. I don't like either of those guys.
You don't even think that they're high end RB3s? Because that's literally what it's like. It's the best RB3 is running back 25. And I can't believe Leonard Fournette only carried the ball 95 times, 97 times. Crazy, man. Huh.
Who else would you say would be available around then, running back wise?
No one. I mean, after him, you start getting down to guys like Raheem Mostert, James Conner. I mean, Miles fucking Gaskin. Do you like Damian Harris better than either of them? Looks like Sony.
Potentially, I might like Miles Gaskin more than either of them.
Oh, you can't like Trash Man. That guy sucks. They've already said there's absolutely no way that they're gonna leave that guy as the lead back, man. Like he had a good year. I don't think he sucks.
He helped win a fantasy league for me.
What do you think of this AJ Dillon bullshit? I mean, do you think that, are you just gonna buy into him around this time if he's available, just hoping that Aaron Jones walks away? He looks pretty good in a limited sample size. If we get a platoon with just him and Jamal Williams, that could be interesting.
Yeah, if there's no Aaron Jones, then yes, buying into AJ. I feel like taking a shot on AJ Dillon there rather than, I don't know. I'm not excited about Jones or Fournette.
I like that. I like that. I think that A.J. Dillon should be up there with those guys. I like taking a shot on A.J. Dillon, so I'm going to move him up. You guys can find version 1.1 on the site, hopefully in the next couple of days. All right. Any other overvalued players?
Yes.
Hold on, but what about Fournette? I mean, what, you think he's overvalued just because you don't know where he's going to land? You don't know if he's going to stay in the same place, if it's going to – I mean, it's murky around him, and he hasn't been that – like you said, he didn't break any tackles, but it feels just like there towards the end. I mean, he was Super Bowl Lenny, Super Bowl Lynn, playoff Lynn. Someone's going to pick him up. I don't know if they'll make him their feature back. But here's the thing, dude. These teams hold on to their priors, and a lot of teams had top 10-ish evaluations on Leonard Fournette, you know.
Yeah. I was never that much of a believer in Leonard Fournette as you guys were.
I know you weren't.
Yeah, so he looked good in the playoffs. I think maybe he plays hard when something's on the line, but I'd rather take shots on younger guys and with more upside than either of those guys really.
All right. Who else?
TJ Hawkinson.
Well, that's a weird guy to think is. Why would you think he's overvalued? Just because you hate Jared Goff so much?
I do hate Jared Goff. I think that perhaps like I'd rather have like a Jonnu Smith or a Kyle Pitts, or maybe even Hayden Hurst in the second year with the Falcons.
What about Tyler Higbee if there's no Gerald Everett with the Rams?
Hey, that might be a pick too, rather than like a Hawkinson who's a top 80 pick right now.
Yeah, we have Hawkinson basically. Yeah, you're right. I mean, you want Robert Tonyan more than T.J. Hawkinson right now, right?
Yeah.
It's hard, but it's hard, man. Hawkinson was such a good prospect. It's hard to get that out of your head. And also, Kenny Galladay might not be back. Marvin Jones is going to be gone.
Yeah, I mean, all those – yeah, I just think considering – just looking at the tight end position, especially like last season, and it just put a top 80 pick on a tight end and what probably isn't going to be that exciting in offense, it's hard for me to do.
And mid-round tight ends have traditionally not been very good bets at all. I guess that was a little bit different this year with the people that decided to take Darren Waller. But other than that, it's just our friend JJ Zacharysen's done studies on that. It's like, if you're not going to take an elite tight end, just wait. These, it's the late round breakout guys with some athleticism are the guys who you should be targeting.
Yeah. You
got any more of these? What you got? Like one? You got like one more of these? Who's an overvalued fantasy player early on?
One more. Okay. Devontae Parker.
What about him? I always think he's a little overvalued.
Tied for 82nd in yards per target out of 153 qualified pass catchers. Receiving yards per game went down from 2019 from 75 to 56. His touchdowns went from 9 to 4. He didn't seem to have the same connection with Tua that he did with Fitzmagic.
No one does. Tua sucks.
So those things.
I'm not saying he sucks, but man, Tua didn't look good last year.
No, so those things considered, I'm not as bullish on a Devontae Parker, especially in that offense.
Do you think Tua sucks? Admit it, Trashman. You kind of think he sucks. I kind of think he sucks.
I think he kind of sucks, but we've seen quarterbacks worse than him improve.
There you have it. Trashman thinks Tua Tagovailoa sucks.